T-shirt, just United Front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Colin Cowherd just straight up checked Kelsey Plum, and wow, it was long overdue. While Caitlin Clark is out here flipping the WNBA into a money printing machine, Plum decided to throw shade at the one player dragging the whole league into a new era of success. And Cowherd, he didn't pull punches one bit. What he exposed about the jealousy bubbling inside the WNBA is wild. So what exactly did Cowherd say? And why is he putting Caitlin Clark in the same breath as his airness himself? Michael Jordan?
I don't have a problem with the WNBA players asking for a raise. The WNBA is on a hot streak. I don't care about the previous 24, 25 years. As an investment, it's starting to pay off. And so this week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, a Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark.
If you're riding for Caitlin, drop Golden Goose in the comments right now. Let's go. Listen to how crazy this shift has been. For over 20 years, WNBA players were flying on bargain airlines where they even had to pay for water. Yes, water. These women were grinding all season long, hooping in half-empty arenas for teams that were bleeding cash year after year. And don't even get started on the merch sales. Jerseys were so scarce that even fans who wanted to rep their favorite player couldn't find one to buy. Then Caitlin Clark touched down and everything flipped overnight. We're talking a jaw-dropping 500% merch sales boom and league attendance shooting up 40%. Whole arenas that once had a few thousand scattered fans are now fully sold out. Teams that were drowning in red ink, suddenly profitable. The Indiana Fever, once one of the league's biggest financial nightmares, now has a season ticket waiting list. That's insane. But here's what really had Cowherd heated.
I don't mind the T-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls. Fast. This is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow. Right? She got you an upgrade to a better hotel as a band member.
These same players who were once crammed into budget flights and paying for their own water are now flying private jets, staying in luxury hotels, and cashing bigger checks than ever before. The league's money situation flipped so hard that these women are now living the dream they couldn't even imagine 2 seasons back. And yet, some veterans are still throwing shade at the very person who made it all happen. Let's keep it real. Caitlin Clark single-handedly dragged this league out of charity case status and turned it into a legit business powerhouse. TV ratings shoot through the roof every time she touches the court. Sponsors, they're throwing bags of money at the WNBA because she brings eyeballs and attention. Social media is blowing up with Clark highlights and her jerseys flying off the shelves faster than they can even print them. Cowherd's frustration is real. He watched this league level up in real time, and he just can't wrap his head around why some players are biting the hand that feeds them. After decades of struggling to get respect to finally be winning, why would anyone go after the person responsible for this glow-up? And then Cowherd drops the perfect bar. He says the WNBA just went from a Motel 6 in the sketchy part of town to a 4 seasons in the shopping district.
Caitlin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds. But it's interesting, for years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, the media is sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose and they don't like what it looks like.
That line says it all. From travel to paychecks, from mainstream sports respect to full-on financial stability, Clark upgraded every single player's lifestyle. Yet some vets are still stuck in that old bitter mindset, acting like nothing's changed when everything has. They're living that 4 seasons life now, yet still whining about the very person who pulled them out of that Motel 6 struggle. And then came the WNBA All-Star voting results. And what Cowherd saw? Ugly. Straight ugly. Here's the deal. All-Star voting is simple. Fans pick their favorites, coaches choose reserves, and players vote on who deserves props. Sounds fair, right? Well, this one matters big time. All-star nods affect endorsement deals, legacy, and how these players will be remembered. For young stars, it's career-changing. It sets them up for more money, more shine, more opportunities.
A girl, Indiana girl. Well, who knows, and I've said this for years, when the wave hits, ride it. You don't know what it looks like. Don't fight it. When Puka Nacua went in the 5th round of the Rams and they suddenly in camp went, oh, we just found a new number 1 receiver. He's better than Cooper Kupp. They didn't fight it. Did you think when you watched Tom Brady at the Combine, that looked like the GOAT? They had just signed Drew Bledsoe to a $103 million contract. That was a lot of money back then. And then a year in, they're like, we're going to go with Brady. They didn't fight.
So how did Caitlin Clark rank? Fans had her first among guards, but her fellow players, they stuck her at 9th. The league's biggest draw, the one packing arenas and making teams profitable for the first time in decades, somehow gets disrespected like that by her own peers, and it wasn't even close. The gap between fan love and player votes was wide open. And let's keep it 100. This had nothing to do with her game. Clark's numbers were crazy. She was breaking records all over the place. The stats backed up her all-star spot. So what was this really about? Something deeper, something personal, something way beyond basketball?
Deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars, well, there's one that moves the needle. And here's the other thing to remember. Caitlin Clark's already rich. She made $11 million this year alone in endorsements off the court. So regardless of how these negotiations go, she's set. Nobody else is, right? Like, so when somebody joins the band and everything gets upgraded, just be happy.
It's the same type of cold shoulder other young phenoms have faced. Remember when LeBron James first burst onto the scene? Yeah, it's giving those vibes all over again. When Tiger Woods blew up in golf, the veterans might have hated being overshadowed, but they still respected the game he brought. With Caitlin Clark, it feels way different. The resistance is loud, obvious, and petty. Cowherd didn't sugarcoat it for a second when those all-star results dropped. He flat out called it what it is, pettiness. He blasted WNBA players for showing zero appreciation for the one person who flipped their whole league from irrelevant to thriving.
Obviously a racial component here. The WNBA players, they just don't like what the wave looks like. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted a better deal in the CBA, which they'll get. They wanted sold out arenas. They got it. They don't necessarily think it should be this. But again, you can't fight it. You just never know what success looks like.
Instead of embracing what he called their golden goose, some players were out here actively moving against their own best interest. And here's the kicker. Stars like A'ja Wilson and Kelsey Plum have been eating off Clark's success. Their profiles blew up, more fans know their names, their checks got fatter, and their travel perks upgraded because Clark put eyeballs on the WNBA. But when it came time to show respect on those all-star ballots, they ranked her below players who haven't made anywhere near the same impact. That's wild. This ain't just a voting issue. It ties straight into what we've been seeing all season long. Hard fouls, cheap shots, unnecessary contact, and obvious targeting every time Clark steps on the court. It all screams one thing. Some vets can't handle that a second-year player flipped their whole world upside down. So what are they doing? Taking it out on her in the voting booth and on the hardwood, punishing Caitlin Clark for their own success. Legendary. That's what this is gonna be. Cowherd dropped a comparison that made the Caitlin Clark situation crystal clear. And it's one some people don't even want to touch. He said Clark's impact mirrors Michael Jordan's rookie explosion. Both came in flashy, young, and completely changed their leagues overnight. Jordan turned the NBA into a global powerhouse. And Clark, she's doing the exact same thing for the WNBA right now. The parallel is so clear it's shocking more people aren't talking about it. And here's where it stings. Both Clark and Jordan got punished for their greatness.
I know you wanted your song to be the first one they played. You wanted to make up the set. But I mean, it's not the t-shirts. You're going to do fine. I'd scale back on the Caitlin Clark angst.
Remember the infamous Jordan rules the Detroit Pistons cooked up just to beat him down physically? Well, Clark's been dealing with her own version all season. Cheap shots, targeting, and officials who can't seem to keep up with protecting a generational talent. Cowherd even called out how wild some of the officiating has been, letting stuff slide that feels straight up wrong when it comes to Clark's treatment. And just like Jordan, Clark's already paid the price, missing a game because of injuries from all that physical play. It's history repeating itself, a league struggling to protect its biggest star while still keeping the game competitive. And just like those Bulls back in the day who brought in Charles Oakley to watch Jordan's back, don't be surprised if the Fever start thinking about adding some enforcers to keep Clark safe. The Indiana Fever went out and grabbed Sophie Cunningham for one reason: to protect Caitlin Clark. Cowherd said it straight. Just like the Bulls had Oakley for Jordan, the Fever know you have to guard your superstar at all costs. That's not coincidence. That's smart business when you have a player who changes everything. And here's the ultimate compliment. The merch and TV ratings are telling the exact same story. Cowherd even called Clark a dynastic TV rating changer, the same phrase folks used about Jordan when he hit the NBA. Both became must-watch TV the second they stepped onto a pro court. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Just like Jordan, Clark is facing real resentment from veteran players who feel overshadowed. The All-Star voting snub proved it loud and clear. Jealousy is real, and it's active. This all ties back to college popularity, too. Jordan's North Carolina fame carried him into the NBA and flipped the league's entire image.
In the country would love to go viral every day for free marketing. If they knew how to do it, they'd all be viral every day. Like, you just don't know. Is it authentic? It touches people. There's a tentacle of emotion involved, and suddenly some small town kid goes viral, or a singing frog. Who knows? I wouldn't have guessed that Caitlin Clark would be this transformative. I wouldn't have guessed Tom Brady would be the GOAT. Don't fight it. The wave, the meteor, doesn't necessarily look like you think it's.
Clark's Iowa stardom is doing the same thing for the WNBA, dragging a whole new audience into women's basketball and completely shifting its culture. And Cowherd, he's confident this heat will only make Clark stronger. Just like Jordan's early beatdowns turned him into an unstoppable force. His message to the league was loud: embrace this transformation or get left behind, because Caitlin Clark isn't just a star, she's the future. Cowherd's final prediction dropped like a hammer. The future of the WNBA runs straight through Caitlin Clark. Like it or not, jealous veterans are watching her second-year rise reshape the way this entire league operates. The momentum is real, and Cowherd says the WNBA is finally on the verge of hitting that financial sweet spot they've been chasing for decades. But this isn't just about one player anymore. It's about a complete transformation of women's basketball. And here's the decision every veteran has to make. Either ride Clark's wave or watch it crash right over you. Because the money doesn't lie. TV deals, sponsorship bags, and those bigger paychecks everyone's begging for, they all depend on Caitlin Clark continuing to dominate and the league capitalizing on her popularity. Cowherd called it, the WNBA is on a hot streak, but you only get one shot at this type of momentum. Miss it, and another chance like this may never come again. Look at history. When generational stars showed up in other sports, veterans either adapted and thrived, or they resisted and got left behind. The smart ones, they adjusted and elevated their careers.
Man, this league has never made money. It's an investment. It's now going to make money. And by the way, this is the least profitable, arguably, it'll be over the next 10 years. It's only going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year, she's not playing well. She's hurt. She's not there for all the games. So this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2, next 12 years were legendary. That's what.
And that's exactly what players like Lexi Hall, Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston have done. Embracing Clark's greatness, riding with her through challenges, celebrating her wins, and building chemistry that lifts everybody. These players will be remembered as part of Clark's rise, not obstacles to it. They chose collaboration over competition, and because of that, their careers will reap the rewards for years to come. But what does 2025 look like if the league fully commits to the Clark era? Picture this: sold-out arenas becoming the norm, not the exception. Sponsorship deals that actually move the financial needle. Young girls rocking WNBA jerseys to school because their heroes now play pro basketball. And TV ratings so good networks start fighting for broadcasting rights. That's the potential Cowherd sees if everyone jumps on board. But what happens if the resistance continues? Things get real messy, real fast. The league splitting into two camps, those who ride the Clark wave to success and those stubbornly fighting against their own prosperity. The choice seems obvious, yet some players keep making it harder than it needs to be. Cowherd delivered his boldest take yet. Clark will define the next decade of women's basketball, period.
Bad boys Pistons with MJ. For the record, Caitlin Clark got up. She wasn't hurt. She did more trash talking. She hit more threes. She remained remarkable. Just like all the great, if you respect women, stop pandering. She's tough. She's feisty. She likes to taunt and talk. And nobody quite knows what the hell to do.
The numbers don't lie, the fan engagement speaks louder than words, and the financial transformation is already underway. Whether veteran players accept it or not, Caitlin Clark is now the face of women's basketball. The league can either embrace that reality and prosper together, or watch certain players get left behind while others thrive next to the superstar who changed everything. This transformation is happening with or without everyone's blessing. And here's where it all lands. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a movement. Cowherd made it clear. You can try to ignore it, downplay it, even resist it, but you can't stop it. The wave she's bringing to the WNBA is bigger than one team, one season, or one highlight reel. It's a cultural shift. Think about it. One player's arrival has sold out arenas, spiked jersey sales, doubled TV ratings, and pulled major sponsors into a league that once struggled just to break even.
Clark now is like kerosene to the physicality flame. So you have physicality in this league, and now you get this flashy player, and they don't know how to officiate her, they don't know how to defend her. But I would say, when I hear this, Colin, the WNBA, Colin, has got to do something. Yes, they do. Understand, this is the arc of a new superstar in your league. It'll start with hazing. It'll go to physicality. It'll go to flagrants. It may go to technicals. You'll eventually have to get a Sophie Cunningham or a Charles Oakley. I mean, Wayne Gretzky did this for years. They figured it out in hockey. How do you stop Gretzky? Oh, we can't. How do you stop MJ? We can't. How do you stop Caitlin Clark? You guys understand, this is the worst she'll ever be. She's getting better.
That's not hype. That's transformation in real time. And yet some players still don't get it. They keep throwing shade, delivering hard fouls, and downplaying her impact as if that's going to change the numbers. Spoiler alert, it won't. The WNBA is already cashing checks off Clark's name, and fans are showing up in record numbers because of her. Cowherd put it bluntly. You don't have to like her, but you better respect what she's doing. Because players who choose to fight this wave, they're only fighting their own future. This is how sports history is written. Not with silence, but with disruption. Just like Jordan changed the NBA, Serena changed tennis, and Tiger changed golf, Caitlin Clark is rewriting the playbook for women's basketball. And the question now isn't if she'll lead the WNBA into its biggest era ever. It's who's smart enough to ride that wave with her.
In the country would love to go viral every day for free marketing. If they knew how to do it, they'd all be viral every day. Like, you just don't know. Is it authentic? It touches people. There's a tentacle of emotion involved, and suddenly some small town kid goes viral, or a singing frog. Who knows? I wouldn't have guessed that Caitlin Clark would be this transformative. I wouldn't have guessed Tom Brady would be the GOAT. Don't fight it. The wave, the meteor, doesn't necessarily look like you think it's.
Cowherd's message couldn't be clearer. Stop biting the hand that feeds you and start appreciating the golden goose. The WNBA is finally exploding with growth, and fighting against that success makes zero sense. If you truly want to support real change in women's basketball, back Caitlin Clark and the players smart enough to embrace this transformation: Lexi Hull, Aaliyah Boston, Sophie Cunningham, and Kelsey Mitchell. These players get it. They see what's happening, and they're setting themselves up for long-term success while others waste energy on jealousy.
Gotten really good really fast. It's like the end of year one for Michael Jordan or year three for Michael Jordan. She's gotten really good really fast. And you got to put a body on her, or you got to double team her, or she's going to embarrass you. She's shooting 33 footers. And what happened last night's a byproduct of that. This is what happened to MJ. She's number 1 and 2 in every offensive stat. She's hitting more threes this season than Steph Curry did in his first MVP season, and her game embarrasses you.
2025 could be the year the WNBA breaks through into mainstream sports consciousness, if everyone stops fighting each other and starts building together. So if you're rocking with Caitlin Clark and the players building this new era, drop Golden Goose in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a story like this. Click the video on your screen and we'll see you in the next one.